The countdown is on, Eagles fans. Week 3 is here, and it's not just any game, it's a rematch. Philadelphia versus Los Angeles. The Rams. The same team the Birds battled in last year's playoff war at the Link. That night was chaos, heartbreak, and pure adrenaline. And now, it's time to settle unfinished business. This matchup isn't just about X's and O's, it's about pride. It's about proving that Philadelphia is still the team nobody wants to line up against. And at the center of it all? Jalen Hurts. Every snap, every throw, every decision will be under the spotlight. The question heading into this week: how do the Eagles get this offense firing on all cylinders? The answer might be simpler than people think: establish the run. Pound the rock with Saquon early, spread the defense thin, and force those linebackers and safeties to pick their poison. Because once the ground game sets the tone, Hurts can do what he does best: attack through the air, roll out of the pocket, and make defenses pay when they overcommit. Now, let's be real. We've all seen the growing pains. At times, the offense has looked predictable. At times, Hurts has played it safe instead of taking that killer shot. But here's the thing: Hurts isn't the same QB he was when he first stepped into this league. Back then, he'd lock onto his first read, tuck it, and run. Not anymore. Now, he's dissecting defenses, firing the ball on time, and putting his playmakers in position to succeed. Still, there's one adjustment that could flip this game on its head: getting Hurts moving early. Roll him out. Clear his vision. Give him those easy throws in the flat to build rhythm. When he's comfortable, when he's confident, when the defense starts hesitating for even half a second, that's when Philadelphia's offense becomes unstoppable. So the stage is set: Rams defense, flying around, blitzing heavy, trying to disrupt the rhythm. Eagles offense, looking to reclaim its identity, led by a quarterback who's still growing, still grinding, and still chasing greatness. This isn't just week 3. This is a statement game. Let me put it like this: Eagles fans, sometimes quarterbacks try too hard, and when they do, they end up costing their team the game. It's just like life. If you chase something with desperation, you lose control, and instead of getting what you want, you push it away. That's the danger of overplaying the quarterback position. We've all seen guys like Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson light up the stat sheet with video game numbers. Patrick Mahomes makes throws that look impossible. Fans around the league get hooked on highlights and box scores. But here's the truth nobody wants to admit: there's more than one way to win in the NFL. And Jalen Hurts is proving that his way works. Hurts doesn't need to throw for 400 yards and run for 100 more to lead this team. What he does is play smart, protect the football, and keep the Eagles in control. And that matters more than flashy stats. Just look at the numbers. Under Nick Sirianni, Philadelphia is 36-2 when they win the turnover battle. That's not luck. That's a culture. A commitment to discipline. Every possession matters, and Hurts knows it. Think about Tom Brady at the height of his dynasty with New England. He didn't force deep bombs on every drive. He didn't panic under pressure. He played patient, calculated football, letting the game come to him. That's exactly what Hurts is learning to master: a style built for championships, not just for headlines. Because when quarterbacks get greedy, when they try to play hero ball, bad things happen. An interception. A fumble. A momentum shift. And just like that, games slip away. Hurts refuses to let that happen. He'd rather take the check down, make the safe throw, and live for the next drive. Some fans might call that conservative, but smart fans know it's winning football. But let's be real, the Eagles do have issues to address. Cornerback 2 is a concern. On one side, Quinyon Mitchell looks like a future superstar. In the slot, Cooper DeJean has already shown he's a dangerous chess piece with Pro Bowl upside. But the other boundary spot? That's shaky. Adoree Jackson bounced back in week 2, but consistency has been a problem. And against elite receivers like Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams, you can't afford weak links. That's why Patrick Surtain-Tu's name keeps floating around. He's a lockdown corner, one of the best in the entire NFL, and if Denver's season spirals, Howie Roseman will be watching closely. Yes, it would take a massive trade package: first-rounders, mid-rounders, maybe even a young player. But if you land Surtain, you instantly erase the defense's biggest question mark. For now, the Eagles will keep testing what they have. Jacorian Bennett is raw, still developing. Jackson is fighting to prove himself. The secondary as a whole is being molded by Vic Fangio's system. But we all know Howie, if he smells weakness in November, he won't hesitate to make a move. So, the offense has its identity in Jalen Hurts, smart, disciplined, efficient. The defense, though? It might come down to whether or not Howie pulls the trigger on another blockbuster. Week 2 told us everything about what this Eagles team is made of. The stage was loud, hostile, and filled with pressure. Arrowhead, under the lights, against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. A desperate Chiefs squad that hadn't gone 0-2 since 2014, a Mahomes-led team that had never in his career lost 3 straight games. That was the environment the Eagles walked into, and they walked out with a win. It wasn't perfect. Bo Nix's struggles in Week 1 echoed across the league, and the Eagles themselves had moments that nearly gave the game away. But when it mattered, they stood tall. You saw the fire in Jalen Hurts' eyes when Chris Jones tried to cut him down after the final whistle. Jones barked about stats, about Hurts not even hitting 100 yards passing. And Hurts didn't flinch. He just snapped back. We won the F***ing game. That's all that matters. That's what defines a quarterback. Not the numbers. Not the box score. The win. The poise. The refusal to bend when everything is stacked against you. And make no mistake, this win matters. The Chiefs are the standard in today's NFL, and the Eagles took them down on their own turf in front of a record-breaking audience. Over 33 million people tuned in, making it the most watched September or October game in league history. Every eye in football was watching, and the Eagles showed grit, toughness, and a refusal to be intimidated. But here's the catch: the road doesn't get easier. The Rams are marching into Lincoln Financial Field next, and this one already feels like the game of the week. Sean McVay's creativity versus an Eagles defense that looks hungrier by the day. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua testing the secondary. Aaron Donald trying to collapse the pocket. It's a heavyweight matchup, and it's coming fast. And then there's the storm brewing around the brotherly shove. For years, this play has been the Eagles' ultimate weapon: unstoppable, brutal, and effective. But whispers are growing louder. Owners don't like how it looks. Analysts claim it's unfair. And after this Chiefs-Eagles clash broke viewership records, the league is worried about the narrative being less about Mahomes versus Hurts, and more about a rugby-style shove play. Don't be surprised if this is the final season we see it. The NFL may finally put it to rest in 2025. For now, though, it's still alive. And the Eagles are still riding it. One gritty win down, another massive test ahead. The Chiefs didn't fall because of the tush-push. They fell because, when it mattered, the Eagles made the plays Kansas City couldn't. A missed 58-yard kick opened the door. Saquon Barkley bulldozed into the end zone. Patrick Mahomes marched his team down the field, eyes locked on Travis Kelce for a game-changing strike, only for the ball to slip through Kelce's hands and land in the arms of Andrew Mukuba. The Eagles capitalized, turning mistakes into points. And when the lights burned hottest, it was Jalen Hurts, not Patrick Mahomes, who looked sharper on third down, calmer against the blitz, and clutch when everything hung in the balance. But instead of facing that reality, many Chiefs fans pointed their fingers at one thing: the brotherly shove. They cried foul. They claimed it wasn't fair. They wanted excuses. But here's the truth: you can't blame the Eagles for being better at something no one else can stop. Yes, there were offsides calls on both sides of the ball. In fact, Kansas City was flagged on the very first attempt of the game. Yet somehow, the outrage always points at Philadelphia. It's easier to whine than to admit the Eagles simply dominate at the line of scrimmage. This play is not a gimmick. It's not rugby in pads. It's football distilled down to its most brutal essence: leverage, power, and execution. Jordan Mailata, who actually played professional rugby, has said it himself: this isn't rugby. This is trench warfare, and the Eagles do it better than anyone else in the league. Nick Sirianni introduced it in 2022, and since then, Philadelphia has perfected it. They've won games with it. They've broken opponents with it. It's become part of their identity, a symbol of the physicality that defines this team. People call it ugly, but tell me, is a punt beautiful? Is a quarterback sneak without controversy suddenly thrilling? The only reason the brotherly shove gets this much attention is because it works, and because nobody else can stop it. And that's what makes it dangerous. Not on the field, but in boardrooms. With league executives and owners who don't like how it looks on TV. With critics like Dean Blandino calling for it to be outlawed. The whispers are growing louder that this weapon, this uniquely Philadelphia play, may not survive beyond this season. For now, though, it's alive. It's unstoppable. And it's still breaking the will of defenses across the NFL. The louder the noise gets, the closer the reality becomes. NFL owners may actually pull the trigger and ban the brotherly shove. And if they don't, the league has another option. Officiating crews could crack down harder, throwing flags until the play becomes too costly to use. Either way, the whispers around this play aren't going away. But while all eyes are on that controversy, there's another storyline brewing: the young back, Tank Bigsby. Will we see him unleashed in Week 3? It's possible. Maybe he's eased in as a kick returner, where the assignment is simple: catch the ball, find daylight, and run. But in Philadelphia's system, it's never just about running. It's about doing the dirty work. It's about protecting Jalen Hurts when the defense turns up the pressure. Against Kansas City, the blitz came on more than 60% of their defensive snaps. That's an insane number, and yet the Eagles held strong. Saquon Barkley and A.J. Dillon weren't just runners, they were shields, standing tall in blitz pickup, stonewalling linebackers and safeties who came flying in. That's what made Hurts look so composed. That's what gave the offense a chance to strike back. So the real question is this: is Tank Bigsby ready for that responsibility? Can he diagnose a blitz, step up into the teeth of a defensive line, and keep his quarterback clean? Running the ball is one thing. Blocking for Jalen Hurts when the house is coming down is something else entirely. And then there's the heart of this team, the offensive line. Something feels off. Landon Dickerson, the warrior at guard, does not look fully healthy. Watching him go head-to-head with Chris Jones was tough. Jones, even at his age, still one of the most dominant interior defenders in football, pushed Dickerson back more than once. That's not normal. It makes you wonder just how much that knee, and even that back injury, are limiting him. For a lineman, those two things are everything. Leverage. Balance. The ability to anchor against 300-pound monsters crashing down on you. Tyler Steen has shown flashes of brilliance, pancaking defenders one snap, then looking soft and hesitant the next. Consistency hasn't fully arrived yet. And you can't ignore how much the Eagles have missed Mekhi Becton. His absence has left a hole, and though the line has battled, the cracks are starting to show. Still, let's not forget this: Kansas City came with wave after wave of pressure, more than 60% blitz rate, and Jalen Hurts still stood upright. That's because, despite the injuries and the struggles, this offensive line found a way to hold its ground when it mattered most. That's the Eagles' DNA. That's their identity. Even when banged up, even when doubted, they fight in the trenches. Do you trust this offensive line to stay strong through the season, or are you worried injuries and inconsistency could derail them? Drop your thoughts below, PHI family, let's hear you.